Hi, good afternoon. My name is Dianne Blick. I'm with Keller Williams Hometown Partners, BlickHomes, right here in Hutchinson. And I am delighted to welcome you to Essentials with Dianne and to welcome our guest in for today, Robynn Sims of Sims Chimney Sweeping. Thanks for being here.
Sure, glad to be here.
So first of all, our purpose for these videos, as a real estate agent, my intention for doing Essentials with Dianne is to help make our customers and clients as savvy as they can possibly be about every aspect of the real estate transition. We want them to win the contracts, we want them to list right, and then when we get to the inspection part, we want them to know what it is that they should be concerned about. And so I'm so happy to visit with you today about fireplaces and chimneys and all of that related stuff. And we're gonna have a great conversation with Robynn and learn about chimneys and fireplaces. So thank you for giving your time today again.
Sure.
Yeah. So first of all, let's talk about your business. Let's share with the audience about Sims Chimney Sweeping and overall, just a big picture of what you do, all the services.
Sure. So we clean chimneys. That's our main, the main thing that we do. We also do repairs. So often, when we're cleaning a chimney, we might notice that there's some mortar that needs to be repaired, or if there's a chimney cap that needs to be replaced, or they even need one. And we're looking for just overall, ability. That the fireplace is
compliant.
Yeah, it's going to work okay, and we also install stoves and inserts as well. So those are for customers who want more heat in their home. Fireplaces often are just for ambiance or holidays, and stoves and inserts are for folks who are looking to maybe lower some bills or use it for heating.
Great. So overall services as it relates to. So for me, growing up in the era that I did, the chimney sweep, the iconic chimney sweep, came from Mary Poppins, and you brought a top hat today.
I did.
Oh my gosh, look at that. That's so awesome. And I did ask you earlier if you dance on rooftops, and no, safety first, right?
Safety first.
No singing or dancing from the rooftop.
We haven't been asked to do that, but this is my dad's top hat. My dad got started almost 40 years ago, and he built a house, knew it needed to be cleaned, found an ad in Mother Earth News that talked about cleaning chimneys and cleaning your own chimney. So we bought the brushes and then realized that it was something that he could offer to the community. And so he just started gathering customers, and what I love about this business is that often our customers become friends, and sometimes we see them more than once a year, but just to catch up on their lives, clean their stove, clean their chimney, check in on them, and so yeah, it's been a really delightful process. I joined my dad about 5 years ago, and have just enjoyed all this time with him, and then also learning this trade.
And it is a trade that you have to learn on the job. Is there a school for chimney sweeps at all?
There is
certification?
There is.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So there's a school called the Chimney Safety Institute of America.
Okay.
And they offer certification. I just finished getting certification recently, and then that's an annual process.
So how many credit hours does it take about for ongoing certification?
I think it's 36 credit hours in the year. Might be less than that, but they do continuing education classes. There are also some suppliers that offer classes. And so it's definitely an educational process. Yeah.
So you mentioned your dad, and gosh, he just retired. That was exciting for him.
Yeah.
And So awesome to pick up a family business and to roll into all of that and transition. And for me as a real estate agent, when I'm on site and you and your dad would roll up to do the chimney inspection, absolutely right. I could see that you guys had become friends with your past clients because they were always excited to see you coming. And they'd be like, oh, look, there they are. That is absolutely true. I saw that. I continuously saw that and thought it was really neat. So what's your favorite part of the job?
I really enjoy just interaction with the customers and answering questions. I also really enjoy essentially setting my own schedule. There is a lot of work though, and we have a busy season, which essentially starts September to January. So at that point, we're just full-time, sometimes overtime weekends. But I really enjoy having the flexibility, but also the stability of a list of customers that are ready to have us come back and service their fireplace or their chimney. So that says a lot about my dad and what he established in the community, and
Sure.
then what we can continue to offer.
That's, I would say, very, very true. So someone has their home under contract and it's time for the inspection, and the buyer or the agent, we offer full service and we call you to schedule a time, and we try to get it all together with all of the inspections so that we have the whole house and the termite and the chimney and anything else that needs to be inspected all at the same time. So we try to do that. And so you arrive on site. Walk us through what you do when you get there. What are you looking for? What are the check boxes, I guess, that you're looking at?
Sure, yeah. So one of my toys, my tools, there is a handy software that was developed by a sweep. And so I bring this along, and the first thing really that we kind of look at is accessibility. We look at getting on the roof. We look at, is it a fireplace? Is it a stove? We try to find out as much as we can about the appliances that are there. If there is more information, if they have a tag, that sort of thing. And then we just walk through the process of assessing functionality and assessing what the chimney looks like, if there are repairs that are needed. And then we work up a report depending on, and if cleaning is asked for at the time, we go ahead and do that as well, and then work up that report and get it to the requesting agent as soon as we can.
So the chimney cleaning, I was interested that I don't think I've ever seen you use power tools or like an air compressor to blow out a chimney. Do you or just use and is there a reason that you wouldn't do that?
Yeah, well, we have been a manual, we manually clean. There are options for other methods. The mitigation of dust is so with manual, the mitigation can be a little bit easier.
Okay.
Yeah, you put an air compressor and they're probably not really sure where it might go.
Then we need a whole house cleaning.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I've been meaning to ask you that question, so I waited until we're on live video to ask you this.
Well, no worries. Yeah, and it's pretty big. I mean, there's a hand brush. It's getting debris off of a firebox on the inside, and it's a brush down the chimney. So getting the debris clear and then cleaning it out as best we can.
Okay, so I have a couple questions, or a big question probably, about inserts. Because I know we've had several instances, probably in the past 6 months, I think, where we've had a couple of inserts that were not in compliance.
Sure.
So if I'm a homeowner and I have an insert, what might I be concerned about? What should I want to know? Because I might not have my house up for sale, and so it's not going to get inspected. What might I be concerned about?
Sure. So the word insert is used often loosely. An insert the way that I use it, and as far as I know in other soups, the way we use it is an insert is designed, it's like a stove, and it's designed to be put into a fireplace to generate more heat.
Yes.
So 70s and 80s, because of the energy crisis, a lot of those units were just shoved in, and at the time just pushed in there without anything, without the proper flue sizing. So what we find now is that these units, though they may generate a lot of heat, and homeowners may not even know that they're not properly lined. So these older ones, the recommendation we give is that they be removed, and if the homeowner wants another one put in, then we assess the chimney and the fireplace, and we determine what would be a proper fit for them, and then they now have the compliance now, or the way that they're hooked up now, instead of just venting into a fireplace, is they have their own liner, their own flue, and so it's much easier to clean. The debris stays contained. It's not up in the fireplace. But yeah, that's a really good question. And if homeowners are concerned, they could just have us come out and look at it. It's looking down the chimney to see if it has a proper liner.
Sure. Well, I know the ones that we've discovered, I walked away from that discovery thinking, wow, if this home hadn't been for sale, nobody would have known this. They wouldn't have known to ask, and it could have been a dangerous situation. So I think it's important to share that. Somehow we need to make more people aware. They should have those 70s and 80s energy-efficient liners checked out.
Yeah, and so these units, something also to consider when we think about stoves and fireplaces even, particularly factory-built fireplaces, they are an appliance, and so they have a lifespan. So the idea of thinking about would we use a 50-year-old refrigerator, or would we use so the idea of thinking about stoves and fireplaces more as appliances, and that they do need upgrades and they do need replacement sometimes. They have a lifespan.
That's really interesting, Robyn. That's really important. I'm so glad we can share this, and maybe we'll put this in an extra clip or something and share it out, because you're right. You wouldn't use a 50-year-old refrigerator because the liner would be going bad and the air would be leaking, and you would know it. Yet we throw more logs on the fire and we don't know it. Huh.
Yeah. But it's and that's why it's good to have annually have fireplaces looked at, and so there's masonry fireplaces, there's factory built fireplaces that have everything was built in at the same time, freestanding stoves, the inserts that go in the fireplaces, and then there's variations in between.
Yeah, the other thing we're finding has been multiple times we have found gas lines in, but not proper grading above it. Is that right? Has that been the issue? Talk about that for a minute.
Well, so factory-built fireplaces, they will have had instructions that the grate, that there's a grate that goes with that fireplace, and so the operation of that fireplace, the way that they had that tested, that grate is with that fireplace. So if there's a different grate, then the operation would be a little bit different. Fireplaces, there's a variation on grates and gas lines. We usually recommend having a plumber check the gas line and make sure that it's properly hooked up.
And that the logs are not sitting down on top of the gas line coming in. Yeah. Wow. Well, it's been interesting for me to follow along and watch the things that you're discovering, the things that you're doing. Have there been any things that you've ever found during a cleaning process that really surprised you?
Animals are always a little bit surprising. Raccoons are interesting. We try to, a mama with babies, we just wait, we let them vacate, and then we come back and recommend a chimney cap. Mummified duck, mummified squirrel, that sort of thing.
You mean toasted or mummified?
Well, I think they were. I once found a sweatshirt in a fireplace. I think maybe roofers. Someone had just thought it was a trash chute or something and dropped some things down.
Oh.
So that's good. You know, sometimes we don't know sometimes what's up there. So it's always good to have those sort of places checked out.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, all aspects of inspections turn up interesting things, that is for sure. They all do. So, is there anything that you think is important to share that consumers, home buyers, sellers, or homeowners should know about fireplace care?
It is really important and actually recommended that chimneys and fireplaces be checked annually, regardless of use, regardless of how much you use it, just because of making sure that that there isn't deterioration, water leaking. All kinds of things can happen in a year. And so having that chimney and that fireplace checked out annually, even if it doesn't necessarily need cleaning, just to make sure that there aren't any repairs that are needed.
I think that's important too, because one little rust spot on a cap can be almost, you hardly notice it, but the rust can grow really quickly, and now you've got a rusted out cap. Yeah. And all kinds of things coming from that.
Yeah.
Well, I've certainly enjoyed visiting with you today, and I want to thank you again for coming in to share with our listeners. Our goal is to make our buyers and sellers the savviest in the marketplace, and to bring them providers and vendors that are skilled and knowledgeable and certified and licensed in all the right places and willing to teach and during the inspection, and to be sure that they understand the full picture of what needs to be done. So a sweep, you are a sweep, and I appreciate you. Thank you. Robynn Sims with Sims Chimney Sweeping, and this is Dianne Blick with Keller Williams Hometown Partners BlickHomes. Delighted to visit with you today. Thanks for joining us.